This is the Fifth Estate Winning Headlines, your media police post. In this segment, we summarize some of the headlines that you might have missed this morning. And we also take a look at the political pieces that we call cartoons in this country. Today is the 25th of February 2019. I am standing in for Miss K today. I shall be your moderator. I am 2J, and today we are graciously hosted as well by Professor Mutahi, who has agreed to give up his time to sit and discuss with us today.
I was reading a book.
He was reading a book.
I am 2.
Yes. All right, so we're going to go through today's headlines, and just to remind you, our audience, of what our categories are as we rate the headlines. Are they topical or are they speculative? Are they repetitive or are they groundbreaking? And lastly, are they thoughtful or are they intellectually lazy? So today we have the Star. Oparanya's bid is Raila. Musalia, new headache. Daily Nation. Children on drugs, the shocking revelation. And finally, The Standard. MPs fight banks on daily cash limit rule. So.
We begin with what? The Nation?
No, we begin with this one.
All right, let's begin with The Star.
The Star.
The Star. Oparanya's bid is Raila. Musalia, new headache.
I think this headline is exaggerated, in my view. Absolutely exaggerated. And I don't know if Oparanya actually is going to run for president. He's just maybe muddling the waters.
Agreed. I think it's speculative.
It's completely speculative. I think the thing that would have been more interesting is courts increasing taming rogue
Police officers.
Increasingly
Taming.
rogue police officers.
And I think that was a point that was brought to our attention. They've put this as the heading, but it's actually covered in page 6 and 7, whereas courts increasingly taming rogue police officers is their page 4 and 5 story.
Yes.
And just in case Oparanya wants to run for president, we need to remind him of a man called Koyu Wamwere. He ran for president. Where is he now? We need to remind him that Wangari Maathai also ran for president at some point and she failed very badly. May the good Lord rest her soul. There are so many people, including a guy, I can't remember his name. His name was David someone, who when he went to Kivuito asking, presenting his papers, he told Kivuito, the former ECK chairman, to pay the 5,000 bob. I don't know if you guys are too young to remember that. So running for president, many people will say they will make an attempt. So this is completely speculative.
It is most definitely.
But I want to respectfully disagree. I think this has something to do with 2022. Look, if William Ruto is contesting in 2022 and Gema is not a viable VP or DP position, then he must have plan B, right? Maybe Oparanya is the guy who will be Ruto's
but to bring this out
trashed.
All right. Our dictator has spoken. All right.
Kevin, you have no point.
The professor is a dictator.
All right, next we move on to the Daily Nation. Children on drugs, the shocking revelation. What do we think?
Kevin can speak to this.
You know, what shocked me, Prof, is this young child. All right? Not that he doesn't look Kenyan, but I think
does he look Kenyan?
No, that's not even the point. I think it's a bit irresponsible of a paper putting a child, and then you have children on drugs, having a picture of a child next to such a sensational headline. That is probably even damaging to this child. If I was a father and this was my son here, I would probably sue.
I asked you that question as a lawyer.
Yes, and
I mean, is this right, or is it actionable?
My opinion here is that they could not actually use an image of these children who are using these drugs, as we know, as young as 9 years old. So what do? They go get a stock image from the internet, which they're free to use for any reason, and they can use it, and that's not actionable. Because had they used an actual child from these places, these schools, now that would have been a legal issue.
All right. Second question. Is it shocking that children are taking drugs? Does it shock you?
I don't think so. I think children taking drugs has been something we've discussed for years on end.
Yeah.
I don't know what agenda they're trying to push here. I don't know what background or what is informing this story. But no, I don't think it's...
Is this from a report or something, I wonder?
It's some research that the Daily Nation...
Yeah, it's their own investigation.
It's their own investigation.
Yes.
So they investigated.
Yeah.
They did the analysis of their own investigation. Yeah. And then they brought it to us.
Yes.
And they put it all as a headline. Is this speculative?
So yeah, so on that note, is it topical, is it speculative? Is it repetitive, is it groundbreaking, or is it thoughtful or lazy?
It had the potential to lift the veil.
Yes.
Almost.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're the ones who went and did the investigation, and then they did a headline with these are not even findings. These are conclusions.
Yes.
Because you do research, you have a series of findings.
Yeah.
A series of findings lead you to some conclusions. And it appears like this is a conclusion they're giving to us.
Jump the gun.
I think they jumped the gun here. I think this is highly speculative.
Yes, it is.
Although it brings in another issue regarding the legalization
of some drugs.
Of some drugs. Yeah. There is already a bill in Parliament.
Yeah.
And the argument of the members of Parliament is a member of Parliament for Kibera.
Yes.
I don't know why. Cannot call.
Yeah.
I don't know why he took it to Parliament. Yeah. Saying that we should legalize bangi.
Yeah.
And the idea is the bangi economy can actually be as large as the blue.
But is that going to solve these problems, or is it just another revenue stream for the government?
You see, I think it's a gift and a curse. I saw we will not be the first ones to legalize it. Do we have a drug problem? Possibly, yes. Do other nations that have legalized bangi, do they have a drug problem? Absolutely, yes. But are we also saying that this thing cannot be regulated?
The dictator has spoken.
But I'm sure he agrees with me.
Terrible head, I agree with you.
Yes. Speculative, most definitely.
Speculative,
yeah.
100%.
And I think if they were to have published their findings rather than conclusions, it might have been groundbreaking.
Yes,
they should have come to us and asked us what we think about it.
Yeah.
As a think tank, we probably would have told them what our findings, especially we studied crime across the entire country, look like. And then that would have been a little bit more objective. But when we do our own research, and then we broadcast it. That's a form of reverse engineering. You begin with a conclusion and then you go.
So now we go to our final headline. MPs fight banks on daily cash limit rule. Professor, I know that you're violently interested in this story.
When I was a young man, working for University in Nairobi, I was teaching there. I had begun the process of forming an association which I called the Kenya Association of People Who Hate Banks. And I was very violent about banks because banks are the only institutions the world over, mainly in Kenya, that don't even have toilets. Have you ever noticed that? Whenever I ask them that question, they say that you could have a terrorist hidden in there or something like that. But I think the most inhumane institutions that we have, in this country is the institution of the bank, in my view. This is my favorite headline. And I am surprised that it's taken so long for members of Parliament
to fight this,
to fight the cold-blooded manner in which the banks treat us.
So maybe if we could give some context to the people at home who might not have read the story. Essentially, in 2016, a regulation was put into effect that said that any transactions over $10,000, which is 1 million Kenya shillings, had to be met with an invoice from the person who was transferring the money so that the bank could have that on their records.
It's a declaration.
A declaration of where that money came from and what the intended purpose was. And so now, almost 3 years later, the banks are fighting that daily cash limit rule. And I think here at the Fifth Estate, we agree with that fight.
I think
it is not the banks fighting. I think it's members of Parliament.
Yes, that's why I said that. The MPs who are fighting them.
It's MPs, and even largely business people.
Yes.
How are you being asked to show proof of a million bob? You're turning this country into a banana republic. Right?
It stifles, the ability for trade.
If you stifle money, what I like to call aggregate demand, money will find a new order. People will put their money in mattresses. People will put, not that it is wrong, but you're stifling aggregate demand within the economy.
So let me ask a cheeky question.
Yeah.
Do the MPs have an incentive to fight this daily cash limit, knowing what we know about how money seems to move in this country?
Yeah.
You see, members of parliament deal a lot in cash. And where the cash comes from, we don't know a lot of the time. Because when you're doing campaigns, you have a lot of cash moving around. So they might themselves be having some kind of an interest in removing this particular regulation.
Yes.
But I think for business people, when you're buying and selling certain wares here and there, you don't want to go and be asked where you got the money from and whom you're paying X amount of money. The other day I wanted to go and buy something, and then I was told that you need to give us an invoice.
Yes.
Then I asked the bank, honestly, let's assume that I'm giving a love offering to my pastor of like 200,000. Do I go to him and ask for an invoice? And then and it is a surprise.
Yes.
I want it to hit his account and he gets a price. Or if I'm paying a dowry for a child, the dowry I have gone to Muranga, or here, you people from Kiambu, you know, and I'm asked for $1 million. And I say, "Sir, I'll pay immediately." And the
bank requests the invoice.
Supporting documents.
Now, how do you do that? So I think some of the regulations are coming up from a central bank, not only stifle business, but I think they are commercially nonsensical, in my view.
And I think one interesting thing was that the CEO of the Kenya's Bankers Association went on to state that the banking industry, one, has no problem with this, which of course they wouldn't. This is good for them. But two, that this is in line with global regulations, which I would want to question, because in the US, yes, they do have that same regulation that once you spend over $10,000, it must be met with some kind of note, but it is not from the consumer. It is the bank that is required to just inform the regulators that $10,000 was spent. But they don't ask for an invoice, they don't ask for proof of purchase, they don't ask for a long list of things that get in your way.
And you know what happens, and I have experienced this. So when I was paying this small amount of money, then I told them I'll write lab offering. So that's what I did. Do you know the bank manager had to come and visit me at the offices to say, now there's this lab offering that you sent. Where was he going to? And I'm very sure that they send it to the FRC. That is a financial reporting center. And that's what the MPs are saying. That if you don't want to disclose why you're giving an offering, for instance, and we're not saying that they should not fight a movement of terror money. They should do so. But if you don't want to disclose, what normally happens, then it is flagged out to FRC.
Absolutely.
And these institutions then start looking for you. And then when they come, you say, oh, the invoice that you are asking for is actually here.
But doesn't that waste taxpayers' money?
Exactly.
It does.
Anyway, so what do we think? Topical, speculative, repetitive, or groundbreaking, thoughtful, or lazy? I think we've all agreed this is our winning headline.
This is my best
headline. And this is surprising because we have in the past week really bashed the Standard. And also last week we did not have any winning headlines. So this is a good start to the week.
I agree.
And it is groundbreaking in a sense. And I also think that it lifts the veil
of ignorance.
Yes,
somehow.
It does, most
and
definitely.
I do hope that this conversation will continue.
Yes, that's true. All right, so we have our winning headline. Congratulations, Standard. And now I think we should move on to our cartoons of the day.
Yes.
Kevin, if you could please pick up our newspapers from the pile.
The papers you trashed without.
All right, so while Kevin does that, I think we should start with the Standard. The Standard here today, we have a picture of a cashew nut tree and a caricature of what would appear to be Tanzanian President Magufuli. The cashew nut crisis in TZ.
You know, by the way, I have heard you trashing Gado a lot of the time, saying he's lazy, but Gado's scope is global. He thinks as an African. And when he draws this cartoon, I think he's telling us that the cashew nut crisis in Tanzania, although it has nothing to do with us, I don't know why he's telling us about it. This is running in the Kenyan newspaper, unless the Standard also circulates in Tanzania. But he's saying that, I think he does actually, that the cashew nut problem in Tanzania is Magufuli. That's what. That's
So
what
they have embedded his face in a nut.
but you see,
but what do you think is going to
All right. Well, okay. Before we move on, I think let's bring the audience back in again. For our winning cartoons, we also have a 3-pronged criteria. Is it humorous or is it dry? Is it satirical or pessimistic? And finally, is it effective or just plain lazy?
Yeah.
I think this is very effective for me, because it's not only saying that Magufuli is a problem in Tanzania cashew nut story, but he's also saying that Magufuli himself
looks like a nut.
It's a nut.
Yeah, this is what this
Possibly
is what he's saying.
Do you agree with him?
No, only that Magufuli's head looks like he made it himself, you know.
And so what I found interesting with this story, is the details that come across with it. That the company who ordered the cashew nuts from Tanzania have been unable to pay the Tanzanians until they have completed all legal, commercial, and financial procedures, including getting insurance.
Yes.
So does this not go back to our headline of just the increase in regulations?
Yeah. You know, when you over-regularize, you end up having what we call slippages. Yeah. And this is going to be the result of the central bank's excessive policing of the banking sector. And I'm not saying they should not be banked, they should not be policed, but do it with a modicum of care, I think.
All right, so I'm going to put this in the parking bay until we've had a chance to see what else we have going on today. All right, so Daily Nation. What do we have here? Government and failed projects. So we have a failed project, the carcass of a building that has not been completed, and a red van that says government. And it says, how about turning this into a tourist site and earn revenue? What do we think? Is this humorous or dry, satirical or pessimistic, effective or lazy?
Super pessimistic. It is lazy. I think it's sarcastic. Because they are saying we have so many uncompleted projects that they should become tourist attractions.
But it is not even clever. It's not even clever.
Yeah.
If you, how many people would visit failed projects as a tourist site? Unless we were meant to laugh at that, and that way we are actually putting ourselves down in a sense.
Yes.
I think this cartoon is completely pessimistic.
It's negative, yes.
It is negative, and it is not even sarcastic, because for you to be sarcastic, you need a modicum of intelligence. This one completely lacks.
So I think right there we toss.
Any iota of intelligence.
All right, and finally,
I'm getting violent about the Star.
Finally, we have the Star, and so this story goes back to what was going on with JKIA, KAA, and KQ last week, as they made an effort to have a bid to run JKIA.
Yeah.
And so this one, I think, just plain and obvious is KQ airing their dirty laundry.
You have repeatedly said this week or last week that this is your favorite cartoonist.
Yes.
And actually, I agree with you. His cartoons are very beautiful, very thoughtful. Yeah. What was the name of the cartoonist again?
Victor Ndula.
Victor Ndula. He has a very fine mind, and I think he's a young man. Yeah. But this cartoon, man, today,
I'll say the criticism I always give Gado, this is very obvious. I mean, the caption itself says, secret takeover bid made public. Yeah. We know about this. We've been reading about it all week. To report it on the 25th of February, almost a week late, is lazy.
And to also tell us that the KQ and KAA are washing their laundry in public, we also know that. So there's nothing unusual about it. But this is where newspapers and cartoonists get into subjects they have absolutely done no research about. Yeah. We saw the headline the other day about the Kenyattas having an interest in
or being linked to
the takeover bid.
Yes.
And the thing was that they are said to own a bank, and the CEO of that bank is also the chairman of KAA. The link is made.
They jump to conclusions, and this is what we know about the fourth estate. In order to sell papers,
they bring an object of aggression in order to twist a story and prevent. And this bit is fantastic. It's a clever idea.
I think it's a great idea.
All right.
This cartoonist today, in my view,
let us down.
He has let us down. He has not applied himself.
So Kevin,
just in the same way, Oparanya's bid for president.
Kevin, you can toss that. And so I think what we're saying here is that the Standard has received both our winning headline and our winning cartoon today.
Someone's watching.
Yes, I know. Keep taking that on. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you tomorrow.